Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Mind, Your Reality, Your Results, a weekly live show where I speak with an expert in the matter of mindset so you can change your mindset and ultimately get the amazing results that you want in your life. I'm so glad today to be welcoming Sue. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Leah, I'm so happy to be here. This is so cool.
This is going to be cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. If we haven't met before, my name is Leah Fink. I'm the owner and founder of All Thrive, and I help protect people from the pain of damaged relationships. I'm always happy to chat about that if you want to connect. Also, if you want to connect during the show, please ask your questions, use the comment box. And even if you are not being able to watch the show live, feel free to add those comments and questions after, because then we can still get back to you. You don't want to miss out on Sue's expertise. So take the opportunity that you have. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Sue, do you want to start by telling us a little bit about your background and how you came to be the call to action coach?
Yeah. So this is a really fun story, and it's kind of how I was using the law of attraction when I was 8 years old and didn't even know that it existed, and that's what it was called. So the sad part, here's the trigger warning for people who love animals. I witnessed a cat getting hit by a car on the street where I lived. And it was heartbreaking for me because at the time we had either 3 or 4 cats, I forget how many. And they were part of my life. They've been part of my life since I was 2. And it was, I cried and cried and cried and cried because I wanted to heal this cat. I wanted to make it better. I wanted it to live and be healthy and thrive. And it was devastating. And so I decided in that moment that I was going to be a veterinarian. And that was my whole mindset from the time I was 8 years old. I did research on it, and I discovered that where I lived, which was in San Francisco, California, there was a nice veterinary college right up the road from me at the University of California at Davis. And it was one of the top ones in the nation. It was the only one in the Western states. And I was going to go to UC Davis, period. End of conversation. That was the only thing that I was going to do. And so I went through school and I graduated from high school, or actually my junior or senior year when you're applying, right?
Yeah.
At that point, I had an absolutely solid 3.0 average, which for those who are outside of the United States, this is a B average. This is like, yeah, you're doing okay. You know, you're good, but you're not that good.
Yeah.
And there was a test called the SAT, and to have a perfect score on the SAT, you had to have 1,600. And I had a not so great 1250 on my SAT, mostly weighted toward the English and language skills side and way on the math skills side. And I got into UC Davis. As I said, this was my mindset. This was the only thing I was going to do. I don't know what influence I had over the acceptance board and how they chose me, but I got in. And unfortunately had a little life sideways motion there of the universe gave me exactly what I needed. Yes, it was something that I wanted, but going to UC Davis turned out to be the first step in getting my career off the ground and where I went from there. So when I encounter people, when I'm coaching them, when I'm just even meeting with them initially, and they're telling me that the law of attraction doesn't work, I tell them that sometimes the law of attraction gives you what you need, not necessarily what you want, because that's what you are putting out into the universe. And that's why I'm so passionate about coaching and getting people to take the action that they're inspired to get which is what the law of attraction is all about. So that's the short version of how I got into this.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that. I also want to thank Jamil. I'm glad you could tune in. Who was one of our previous guests who we both know, which is fantastic. But before we go too much further, because it's a term that some people might know, some might not know, some might have good impressions of it or think it's phony, even after listening to that story. Do you want to start by telling us a little bit about what the law of attraction is and how you see it in the world?
Yeah. So the law of attraction is that which is like unto itself is called, is attracted. Now, a lot of people get into all kinds of stuff about this and saying, well, no, it doesn't really work. You know, you don't get what you want. I've tried it for years and it doesn't work. And I've wished for $1 million and I haven't gotten it. Or I've wished for 24-hour sex and haven't gotten it. Whatever it is that they're asking for, and they haven't gotten it. And the deal with the law of attraction is that first part. That which is like unto itself is attracted. So whatever you are is what you are attracting. Now, I could already hear, psychically maybe, all of the people who are going, I attracted this? Yes, you did. And this is why it's so important to work on your mindset, work on who you are and who you can be in the world, so that your world reflects more of what you are, and the law of attraction can attract what it is that you've got. That's the basis of the law of attraction. And I could give dozens of examples of how this works. It's really great. Here's one for you that nearly everybody has experienced. So Leah, have you ever thought of somebody and thought, gosh, I wonder how they're doing? And boom, there's an email, there's a post on Facebook, there's a phone call, there's, boom, they're right there.
I had a great call this morning.
Right? You just think about somebody out of nowhere and boom, they appear. Or you think about something that's, in the world. I wonder how that's going. Boom, there it is. It happens all the time. You are attracting stuff. And I use the word stuff as a technical term. You're attracting stuff into your world all the time, 100%. This is all you're doing, is you're just putting out signals that say, here I am, this is what I'm about, this is what I'm after. And if what you are seeing around you is not what you think you want, let me tell you, you need to shift your mindset so that you get what you really want, what you think you really want.
I love that. Thank you for that definition. And it really makes me think as well, for people who maybe don't feel that really spiritual call or want to believe in I call it the woo-woo, the universal energy. One of the things I really like about the idea of what you're talking about, the like attracts like, is also there's a lot of science to back that what you notice grows, right? And it doesn't have to be on a spiritual level. It can be on, when you have a positive mindset or a gratitude-based mindset, you see more positive things in your life. Just on a fully, whatever you put your attention to, you notice more. It's like, have you ever, broken a leg or something and suddenly, bought a new car is the classic example.
Yes.
Have you ever bought a new car and you notice now everyone's driving that car, and it must have just happened when you bought that car because now you notice them? It's very much the same idea as that to me.
Right, exactly. And it's actually one of the best manifestation projects that you could do, is to say, okay, this is an exercise I gave a class that I had. I said, okay, go out and over the next week, you're going to look for sunset gold colored cars, sedans, sunset gold colored sedans. And people came back and said, I didn't even know that color existed. And oh my God, there's hundreds of them. Yeah, because you attracted them. You said, okay, I'm looking for sunset goal. There we go.
So is that what you'd suggest? Because obviously we want to give people some ideas and practices they could take away today. And the hardest part is mindset. If we could just all change our mindset like this show wouldn't exist. We'd just all know the best things and do them instantly.
Right.
Amazing. How would you recommend that people start becoming aware maybe of their thoughts? Is that the first step?
Well, being aware of your thoughts is the first step, and it's the hardest step. I got to tell you, this is the part that everybody gets tripped up on. And here's an easier way of becoming aware of what your mindset is. And it's called affirmations. And people, you might have heard of affirmations before, which is to make positive statements of things that you would like to be in the world. Now, here's what happens. People do affirmations on, I have $1 million practice. I have a wonderful partner, and we're absolutely joyful and everything is wonderful. I have a grand house with a swimming pool and 40 acres and a golf course and, all of this sort of thing. Well, what happens is when you state those, and I really suggest you state those while you're looking in the mirror the first few times, if not all of the time. What happens is that you make those affirmations and all of this stuff comes bubbling up, right? You just said, I've got this wonderful several million dollar house with 40 acres and a swimming pool and a tennis court, and your mind goes, it doesn't happen. There's your mindset. There's your thoughts. There's exactly what is stopping you from having what it is that you think you want. And that's where what I teach about affirmations is so valuable, because I ask you to engage in that thought that came up that said, no, you don't. Oh my God, you'll never have one of those. Oh my God, that's so ridiculous. You don't deserve that. You don't know. It's like, oh, cool. Yes, come on, bring it on. Right? Because you can't deal with them until you can actually bring them out in the open and work with them. So that's really the first step, is getting those hairy little monsters to come out of the woodwork so that you can address them and go, oh, okay, let's talk about that.
So when you say let's talk about that, because of course this is also one of the steps that is deceptively simple, let's just talk about them. How can people start getting through that?
Well, this becomes a little hard to get general about it. And I'll do my best. So for the majority of people, what you want to do is listen to those voices, or sometimes watch those voices and notice who's really saying it. Because it might be a parent or another family member or a teacher or a bully in school, a spiritual or religious leader. Somebody might have said that, and that's what you are programmed with that stops you from wanting what you really want. For instance, let's do this, since we're on LinkedIn and we're doing this in a business setting. Let's say that you say, I want to have a 7-figure practice. I want to have $1 million practice. And what comes up for you is, no, you can't do that, because being rich is horrible. Rich people are awful. They're mean, they're deceptive, they're evil. Money is the misquote, money is the root of all evil. When all of those things come up, you notice where they're coming from and you address them. So just to be clear about that quote, it's the love of money is the root of all evil. And the actual wording and the context is that when you focus on the money, you are stepping away from spirit, because this is a quote in the Bible. You are moving away from your spiritual aspect, which is all about connection with spirit and with God and with people. So when you focus on the money, yes, you're losing it. Don't go there. But if you say, I want to have $1 million practice so that I can help more people, that means that I am in connection with more people. I'm helping more people, and therefore they can go out in the world and they can help more people. Then it's not evil. Then I can also say, and I can take some of the money that I get and I can donate it to projects. I can help other people using that money. And then it's not a bad thing. Rich people are evil. Oh my goodness. Gosh, I'm so sorry. Over the last 6 years or so, what we have seen is really selfish rich people in the news. Well, count how many of them are. There's only maybe a dozen. There are hundreds and thousands of millionaires out there who are doing good in the world, who are lovely, nice, kind, generous, folks that you'd want to have over for coffee and tea and just be with, because they are such good people. But you don't hear about them. They're not in the media. You don't hear about the good guys. You hear about the bad guys who are making waves, right?
Yeah.
So if I were to be working with a client on this, this is what I would be pointing out to them and helping them to reset those thoughts and make them more positive for themselves. It's like, well, other people may have been bad, but I'm going to be a good rich person. I'm capable because I am a good person anyway. I can be a good person and have money. It works.
Yeah. And on top of that, I don't think it's bad to want stability and comfort for you and your family. Like you said, it's just the driving too far. That's the only thing you care about piece. Can I bring you back with one of your first pieces? Something I think is a really important point with all of this as well, as you mentioned that disconnecting from spirit. And I would also see that as a bit of disconnecting from purpose, and how you see your purpose in life, and especially being aware of that and wanting to attract it, would really affect that. Is that some stuff that you do with people too, is trying to help them figure out what that core alignment to attract to is?
I love you, Leah. Thank you. That was beautiful. Yes, one of my superpowers is helping people identify their gifts, talents, and abilities, and what their superpowers are, and what they could potentially use them for. So yes, if you're kind of struggling because you don't know what you're doing, you don't know why you're doing it, and you don't know what your superpower is, oh, that's one of my favorite things to do. I love that. And here's what ends up happening, and some of you might just get a light bulb that goes off right now, because this is what happens with people, is I tell them what their superpower is, and they go, but doesn't everybody do that? But that's so easy. But I do that all the time. I do that like breathing. That's like, whatever, nobody wants that. It's too easy. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm here to tell you, if there's something that you do that is really easy for you, then that's one of your gifts, talents, and abilities. And also, Leah, I'm going to point out something that very few people talk about.
Awesome.
You can have more than one purpose. Isn't that awesome? You don't have to find your one purpose. You could find half a dozen. They may all be intertwined and related.
Yeah.
But your purpose on the planet is not tied to one thing. And if you don't find it, your life is wasted. No. You can have half a dozen, and some of them you may have already accomplished without even knowing it. You did it. You're good. On to the next one.
Totally. And I really see it. My personal belief or vision of it is people tend to have a core purpose, which is the overall way they want to serve the world and be part of this amazing place and help people. And then, but that's not an action in the way that it's like, I'm going to do this kind of career, or I'm going to raise a family. It's much bigger than that. So I love that idea of saying, don't limit yourself to one action that you're going to take in your life, which if you do it or don't, it'll make you a success or a failure. There's all these different ways that you can live out, like you talked about, your values and what's important to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. One of my teachers said, if you, depending on what your spiritual beliefs were, she said, well, as you incarnate, as you are a spirit coming into body, the angels are stuffing your pockets with notes. Like when you're going out the door and somebody says, oh, don't forget to bring up the milk. It's like, oh yeah, you need to be at the corner of, 1st and Main at 3:00 on Friday the 17th, and do this. And you've done it. You didn't even know that was what you were, that was one of your purposes, but that was one of your purposes. It's so much fun to just think, well, just by showing up, I did what I was supposed to do.
And you say the phrase just by showing up so easily, but that's kind of what we're talking about, is how do you show up fully? And I want to make sure we do get a chance to kind of go through all of this, because you have great stuff to impart. So we've become aware of what those little voices are. We've started looking into them, discrediting, figuring out where they're from. What's the next step for people to get into this good space of affirmations and moving forward?
Yeah, actually, I want to go back and slightly correct something that you said.
Yeah.
We're not going to discredit those voices.
Yes.
We're going to recruit them, because they were there to keep you safe. They were there to do the right thing. And you want to recruit them and say, wow, you are so amazingly powerful at keeping me at the poverty level. There was a point at which that was me. My meals were oranges, honey, and peanut butter. Those were my meals. That was the level that I was at for about 3 or 4 months before I went, no, this is not it. Let's reset this. So they were so powerful and so good at keeping you at that level. Recruit them to bring you to a different level, to really express who you are and what your purpose is. So to get back to your question,
that was a great re-clarification, because that was not helpful language. Thank you.
Yeah, it was the next step after you've done the affirmation is to repeat the affirmation. And you can adjust it. It doesn't have to be the exact wording every time. The point is to have the emotion behind it. Because emotion, and here's where we're going to get into the physics of this. Are you guys ready to have your mind blown with how, the mind and the body and physics all intersect? This is the cool thing. I love this stuff. This is great. So your brain, your heart, and your gut, they all emit together a weak electromagnetic field. And weak is a technical term, by the way. There's strong electromagnetic fields and weak electromagnetic fields. This is a weak electromagnetic field. It's still measurable. It's been measured billions of times on millions of people. And it goes out about 3 feet around your body, top of the head, bottom of the feet. And it looks kind of like an apple because it dips in a little bit at the head and the feet. But it surrounds you. And this is literally your vibe. So what goes on in your head and your heart and your gut is being broadcast out into the world. And you're carrying around all of your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, all of that is going out into the world and intersecting with other people's electromagnetic field. And you will literally hear people, wow, I got a bad vibe from that room. Or that person just gives me a bad vibe. Or, oh, I love the vibe. Right? You just want to, this is what I was talking about, people you just want to cuddle up to. be with. Like, yeah. When you put your affirmations into an emotional context, this affects the electromagnetic field that is around you, and you become a broadcast station. Here's the really cool part. This is really getting into quantum physics here. And pardon me if I'm stepping on anybody's toes. You can correct me later, but I think I got this one down. Every molecule or every atom, every electron on every atom is connected to every other atom in every other molecule in the universe. By definition, all of them were there at the Big Bang. All of them blew apart and became rocks and hydrogen and Leah and cats and palm trees and everything. When you put out a strong enough vibration, literally broadcasting, you are tweaking the molecules of everything in the universe. And that's where the law of attraction comes in, because it wants to come and be with you because you are the same as it is. So you attract people into your life, you attract things into your life that are resonant, they're in harmony with whatever it is that you've got going in your field. So the more emotion that you can put into your field, it makes it stronger. So when you are doing affirmations and you're going, I am a rich person, I am healthy, I exercise all the time, and you're not doing much for your field. But if you go, I attract all kinds of resources to me. I attract the perfect people. I love those people. They are awesome. It is amazing how many people come into my life and help. And it's glorious. That starts putting it out in the field. So when you are doing your affirmations, get a little body language into it. Get a lot of emotion into it. Be as pumped as you can with that. And actually what that ends up doing is that brings up more and better contradictions to that, right? It gets the deeper stuff coming out because you're starting to get pimped up. And the minute you stop getting, all pumped up about it, you get, there's the thing. What's up? It's like, oh, great. Thank you. Recruitment.
I like that too. That just emphasizes this piece of so many people, and I do believe this is really helpful, start with their affirmations because they've heard about affirmations. So they do start saying, I'm smarter, I'm stronger, I am whatever this is. And I do still believe that helps a lot. It's still much better than sitting alone at home and going, I'm the worst, I suck.
Right.
Everyone hates me. And the piece that I think is really great about what you're adding with emotions here is you can't get those emotions unless you do that second step, unless you do acknowledge some of those negative things. It's so hard. Even if you're starting that first step and you're sitting there being like, I don't believe this and I'm saying it, it's still helping. But that's what's going to block that final piece of completing.
Exactly. And there are people that some of the objections that come up are things that I call it two syndrome, and that's TOO. It's two syndrome. And Louise Hay has in You Can Heal Your Life, she has pages and pages of the twos. And it's, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too skinny, I'm too fat, I'm too white, I'm too black, I'm too Latino, I'm, whatever. And those are really insidious because in some cases they're true, right? I'm a woman, I'm too woman, right? In a lot of cases, actually, when I was growing up, I was told I was too mannish. I was too butch. I was a tomboy, and people would say, "Oh, you're not feminine enough." It's like, Give it up. I am who I am. I'm neither feminine nor masculine. I'm me. When I want to be feminine, I put on the lipstick and I put on the dresses and I go rock it. And when I'm cleaning the garage, I got jeans and a flannel shirt. Let's be real. I do what's comfortable for me. But the two syndrome really needs to go away. Really needs to go away. Because it is extrinsically true, does not mean that you cannot achieve what it is that you're going after. So I've got gazillions of examples. I mean, you just look at history of people who were two whatever, who just said, nope, not dealing with that. You know, the great example of the painter, Grandma Moses, who started painting at 98? Too old, give me a break. There are people who, too young. I think the youngest millionaire was 8 years old who made a fortune off of YouTube doing toy reviews.
Amazing.
Don't go there. Oh my God, can I tell you about the models that are making the money at whatever size?
Yeah.
They're just doing great. Too skinny, we won't even talk about Twiggy. It was a supermodel back in the day. Yeah. So get over the two syndrome, because whatever it is that you think you're two that blocks you, I invite you to go look up on the internet and find examples of people who are two that have done what you want to do, or have done something similar to what you want to do, because chances are good what you want to do is completely unique, because you are.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is an amazing point to stop on. I absolutely love it. We are already over time, but I couldn't stop. That was too good. It was too good. Oh no. But I think that leaves people with something fantastic to start with. Even that one point of look up your two syndromes of what you're stopping yourself with. I did want to give you a quick chance, because I realize you have a little bit of a gift or a complimentary book that you were going to share with people.
Yes. So because this is LinkedIn and people want to make money, which is a good thing, you want to have a thriving business, it's a great thing. I have written a little ebook, which is 5 steps to double your income in 30 days. And I will just tell you that step 1 is breathe. Because most people, when they get, this is just the affirmation thing, right? You're going to double your income in 30 days, go, and their brain stops working. So step 1 is really easy, and it gets even better after that.
Amazing.
So the link, I think, Leah, you're going to put the link in the comments.
Exactly. So you'll be able to get that in the comments. You'll be able to get Sue's website, so you can check her out in her YouTube, because Sue also has a fantastic podcast you should tune into.
Yes, The Sweet Sound of Success, The Hero's Journey for the Entrepreneur's Soul, which is interviewing entrepreneurs and their amazing journeys. And boy, you talk about getting over two syndrome pretty fast. You can definitely do that by watching that show.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on today, Sue, and attracting some more good mindset into our lives.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really love being here.
It was my pleasure, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you later.